Got an awful lot of transmission cores piling up. I hope they come get them eventually. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. You can't tell from the shirt. I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. I'm gonna get the shop opened up. We're gonna spend a day in the shop fixing some cars. It's Friday. I don't know what day it is when you're watching this video. Ooh, it got awful dark. The camera, GoPro's going, what the heck happened? A little overcast today, but it's not that bad. Don't worry. Don't worry, we got the same sun you do. It's gonna make its way out. I got this F-350 monster truck. They're still working on the estimate. There was such a long list of stuff to check that I gave them a long list of stuff to sell. And that's just preliminary stuff. We'll have to go further once we get initial repairs done. We'll see what happens with that. I did get a couple of the big jobs done yesterday. We got a couple more big jobs, and I'm sure we'll squeeze in some appointments. See how it goes. We're gonna learn a thing or two, or maybe even three. And we're definitely gonna have some fun. Stay tuned. Uh-oh, that's not supposed to be like that. The first ticket of the day. 2019 Toyota Corolla, 49,600 miles. Been a little fender bender. The young Jedi did an alignment on it. Looks like the left rear is gonna need a shim. Has a trailing arm. One piece left to right, so the only way to adjust camber and toe is with a shim. So I'm going to run through the alignment real quick, verify that measurement, and then we'll put a shim in it if that's what it needs. As long as I don't see something obviously bent. If something's bent, then you can't fix it with a shim because the wheelbase won't be the same left, right, and all that kind of thing. But we'll take a quick look, see where we're going to be at, and then we'll fix it. I got to take a look at the charging system on that F-350 now that the battery's charged too. And I might be playing with the Caravan transmission today. Something about a solenoid pack the rebuilder thinks. Let's get this thing compensated and see where we're at. Alright, caster sweep is done. Let's see what we got. Uh-oh. No, that's not good. The rear camber fixed itself. Let's go ahead and set this toe, and this thing is done. Uh-oh, it's a 22. Sorry if it's a little dark. I got my light charging up. We'll grab the old 22. That thing ought to be charged in about 4 hours. It seems like where you put it on the charge pad has an effect on it too. So you got to be careful about where you place it. But it's a little faster now that I've learned that. So I'm gonna break this loose. Now I want to lengthen this tie rod since it's behind the axle to make the toe go in the front. That's not even a quarter of a turn. Now to get that last little bit, you see I'm at minus 11 on the machine. That's minus 5. So that little eighth of a turn swing or so. Okay, I think I'm good there. I think I'm good there. If I bring up the graphs, I can see if I'm close to the center. I prefer to be close to the center, which I can go a little bit more positive. Green isn't always good enough. Sometimes I like it spot on. I'm gonna start the day off on a good note and get this thing as good as I can. So I'll feel better about my workmanship. No reason other than that. I could just barely get it green and ship it, right? And sometimes I do. Depends on my mood, right? Which is, it's okay. It's still right, even though it's technically not as good as it could be. So that makes sense. Ah, yeah, that one was tight. Now this one, I want to shorten the tie rod end. So I'm going to turn the threads in to the outer tie rod end to bring the front of the tire out because it's towed in a little bit, which means the wheel was crooked. It looked like it was bumped in the front end. That's what made me wonder why it would need a shim in the back, but I always recheck them. Even if I had aligned it last time, I would still recheck it by running the machine through a compensation again. Because the head can move on the wheel and cause a discrepancy in the measurements. So you got to be real careful with that. I'm going to lock this down and verify the wheel's straight. What I do here is I'll pull the lock off the wheel, make sure the wheel doesn't do anything weird, move around at all. and verify that we're still good. And we are. We got printout. We're done. Freaking easy, the way we like it. I apologize if there was a lot of fan noise. I guess Joe's hot already. It's like 76 degrees, but it is kind of muggy. So he's got the fan. He loves having lots of fans on. He bought that personal cooler condenser thing, like 700 bucks. It gives you a little cool air and drops the temperature 5 or 10 degrees. He doesn't like to be hot and sweaty. But he grew up in Miami, which is kind of weird. Anyway, I gotta make sure this wheel's straight, because I'm not superhuman. You know, the head could have moved on me and given me incorrect measurements, and I'll know right away if the steering wheel was crooked. But the steering wheel's straight, so I think we're good. The head must have just moved on him a little bit. No big deal. Body shop car. I'm not going to drive it very far. Verify my wheel's straight, and I don't feel any weird tire wobbles. And then we give it back, and they can finish up their body work and deliver the car with the customer. They have to have an alignment check on a car that gets major collision work. So this one's done. I'm gonna park it and we're gonna see what's next. All right, the next one they saved for me for a few days is a 99 Land Rover Discovery. It says check throttle stuck wide open, no charge, oil change, and check brakes, no charge. But we'll make adjustments to that as we need. The heck is that? Piece of exhaust pipe. That's odd. All right, let's see, throttle stuck wide open, what that means. It's a 99, 175, nope. Oh, what the hell? 75,000 original miles. My goodness gracious. It's like a cream puff in here. Got a love rating of 5. It'd be a 6 if they vacuum it, maybe a 7. Anywho. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. They got I'm guessing now they've changed the way we do things around here. I'm gonna vent for a second. If you don't like it, you can fast forward a little bit. I'm going to try to make whatever money they'll let me make and go from there. So when I get good work, I knock it out. When I get crappy work, I go slower. I just complained to you guys to vent. Oh, definitely got a high idle. And anti-lock lights on. So I'm going to put the scanner on it real quick, I guess, and see what kind of anti-lock codes we have. And then pop the air snorkel off the throttle body and see if it's something stuck in it. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was going to auto detect. I guess not. I'm going to enter this VIN in here and then we'll see what we come up with. All right, whacking it with a pry bar, as you saw, lowered the idle. So that needs an idle control motor. It's sticking open, probably because the vehicle sits a lot. So it's probably crusted up and rusted up or something internally. The throttle voltage was right, and the idle reference speed, 215 RPM, doesn't seem right. But right now it's at 770 since I whacked that little idle control motor a little bit. That's old school stuff. Some of you guys that might be a little younger. That little motor I was tapping with the pry bar has a tapered pintle on it, kind of like my fingertip, a little pointier. And it just goes into an orifice in the throttle body to adjust the idle speed by restricting and unrestricting the airflow for idle speed. Once it lets more air in, the computer adjusts the fuel to keep the fuel trim correct, and it raises the idle, right? So it just adjusts that thing. It's on a little tiny spring with a little motor. So it's very sensitive to corrosion and rust and stuff, and that's probably what happened to it. So I'll recommend one of those. That'll fix that. I'm going to take a look at the ABS, see what kind of codes you might have for that. Land Rover said, how big you want your nuts? Yes. I'm going to use my cool, I don't know if this is Lyle or somebody like that makes this. It's made for oil filters, so it's high-tech stuff. Instead of using my Knipex, I figured I'd use the right tool for the job. Let this thing drip a second. Drain plug on this monstrosity is 1 1/8 inches. I don't know what that translates into millimeters. Translates to big. That's not gonna leak. My brake clean sprayer is going berserk. I think this thing takes 1540 euro oil or something like that. I gotta check my paperwork. I don't think we have that in a big drum. We probably have individual quarts for that. I knew the box felt empty. I just turned it on and let her rip. And it takes 5.3 quarts. We're just about at 5.5. I don't mind giving him the last extra tenth of a quart. That's not going to hurt anything. And I emptied the box completely instead of leaving someone a tenth of a quart. 5.3 quarts of 540 euro dinosaur blood. Oh, that's terrible news. Apparently it'll backfill up the valve cover if you're not careful. Ah, well, now it's 5.1 quarts. Now I need another tenth of a quart. All the big giant holes, all the big giant nuts. Gotta fill the oil slow. Don't pour too fast. Got a 2-inch hole in the valve cover, but the oil can't go in fast. And you know what? That's why. I wouldn't be surprised if the engine's all sludged up, because the oil that came out did not look good. Go ahead. You hang out right there. While I clean this stuff. Don't spray it in the valve cover. Got to clean up after yourself. You might notice it's awful quiet in the shop again, and I don't know where everybody is, but anywho, this thing did need power steering fluid, so that's definitely a power steering leak I'm seeing, and it definitely needs an air filter too. A little bit of washer fluid and a sticker, and then we're going to do the plate in this tow truck. They damaged another one. Apparently they like to force everything until the stuff snaps and comes apart. The thing is, it's bent this mounting tab this time, so I'm guessing that's why they gave it to me. They usually bolt these on themselves, the oil change guys and Paul and stuff, but this one's bent the tabs it mounts to, so it's gonna be a little harder, but I think it pays pretty well. We'll see. Depends on how hard it is to straighten those tabs out, right? Think of how much force that takes and how much don't give a toot to just hold them levers while it's going and just bend all that. Anyway, oh, it comes with those too. Nice. All right, let's finish this up. Knock this out next. All right, this thing is bent up pretty good. I think if I take these two main bolts off on each side, I can lift the whole thing off and separate everything else on the ground. I think I might need some parts out of that roller, like washers or something are in there that I don't see unless they're in this bag. Uh-oh, there's some kind of washer. Sweet. Might not need to have to disassemble it. Alright, let's get this thing off of here and see what happens. Didn't bend the frame, luckily. I wonder what they do if that happens. Truck's totaled or something? The frame, replacing this frame is probably 45 grand. So the truck's probably 100 grand, 150. Who knows how much. I know they went way up the past couple of years, but alright, let's stop talking and get a tool. It looks like about a 22 or 24 millimeter, somewhere in there. That's where we're going to start. See if the mid torque will do this. I don't know. Might be asking too much. Told you it's no problem. There's a washer in there somewhere. Oop. It's bound up on the frame. I've never done one of these. I've seen them do a few and help a little, but never done one. So we'll see. This one, the washer comes off. I'm going to save my hardware just in case I do need it, even though I got a bag of hardware. That doesn't mean anything. I think if I loosen the bolts on the other side, it'll take the tension off. I'll be able to get these bolts out of the frame. Come on. Let's do this. something happened. Must be paint or something holding the washer on the other side. That's pretty funny. That thing's probably heavy. I might need to get a buddy. Do I have a buddy? Nope. I don't have it. That's all right. That thing is pretty heavy. These gotta get reused. They don't give you new ones of those. Not sure why. Maybe they're expensive. We took some damage, and these washers won't fit. These are all the same hardware bags. I guess I'm gonna have to hammer these washers flat again, because that ain't gonna work. And these don't fit. Ah well. Same thing on this side. They didn't give me any of this hardware, but man, the washers got mangled. I'm going to see if I can come up with some washers or hammer them straight. When you don't have the right size washer, you make them. You got to go up to 11/16, which is 2 steps. I think I should be taking the time to get my cutting fluid. Luckily, these drills bits. There was 2 of them at was it Home Depot? No, Harbor Freight. $17 for 2 of them, the large one and the small one. And they work great. That's gonna be a little hot. We'll let it cool a minute, or use the old pocket screwdriver. Oh, I'm starting to get that new tow truck smell. Kind of odd. The bolts, one small bolt on each side, but all the holes are the same size, so you can use these larger bolts, and they give you 3. So I don't know why we had small bolts in there, or someone had small bolts in there. I wonder if this is the same wrecker. When we fix it a few times, the same driver destroys them all the time. That's pretty funny. Imagine if you did this much damage on a monthly basis and kept your job. That'd be cool. I think I got more washers. Yeah, these washers are the right size. So as long as I come up with 3 per side, we're golden. 3 bolts. This faces up, so that as the bed goes back, it lets it rise. It goes in front. Should be good. These are adjustable as a slot. So I'm going to start off as about a wrench width from the top, almost all the way to the bottom of the slot, but not quite. I'm going to start off in that area, see how that goes. Uh-oh. Move. That's what I was worried about. Snug her up, come on in. I don't mean to make that look so easy. Woo-wee. that's tight. And I just put a washer, a urethane wheel, a washer, and a nut. And I believe you can bottom out the nut. There's a shoulder in there that stops you from over squeezing the wheel. Now I just got to grease both of those wheels. I don't know what kind of grease they use on this thing, but it's nasty, whatever it is. I got it on my shirt in a couple of spots, but don't worry, I'll probably make it through the day. I'm gonna try. There it is, I can see it now. Okie doke. I think all that's left now is to make sure that the ramp comes up under that wheel. And it's supposed to keep it snug so the ramp doesn't bounce around and stuff like that. So, that's our next task. Fire this thing up, figure out how the TPO works or where the button is and stuff, and move the ramp forward. You guys tell me if it works right. I think it's a little tight. I'm going to try adjusting them up just like a 1/16 or maybe an 1/8 of an inch. Winner, steak dinner. All right, I'm going to put the wheels back on this, get it out of my bay. I think I got a GMC Envoy that won't start, and it has like a whole list of stuff that happened before it wouldn't start, so we may fix more than just not starting. Oh, we'll see, but I'm gonna get this out of here first. I believe it's a 2006 GMC Envoy. Customer states no start, no crank. Put a jump box on it. It was out, the tow truck driver put it way out in the grass. So I put my jump box on it, drove it in. It's charging normal, it's got a bad battery, I'm thinking for sure. 241,000. 221 miles. My goodness gracious. They like to drive. It's 18 years old, so it's really just, they don't like to drive all that much. What is that, about 20,000 a year or so, give or take? I'm not worried about the math right now. Clock's not off much. It's kind of strange. When I turn the key on, it would light the dash up and not even click or nothing. I put my jump box on, started right up. So I don't know. But they said it wasn't shifting correctly. It was shifting harsh into third or something like that before this no crank problem started. They said you couldn't get it out of park, but not have any problems with that. Maybe it just had a dead battery and they didn't have the key on when they were trying to get out of park to roll it or something. I don't know. I can say that it gets a love rating of 5. It's about average, nothing crazy. A little bit of clutter that could be straightened out in just a couple minutes time. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off now that I know it's charging good. The starter's working. We'll take a look at the battery and see what that looks like. Battery test, enter. Regular flooded. 600 cranking amps. Let's do it. Good battery. Uh-oh. Maybe it does have a starter problem and it just happened to start when I put my jump box on it. I don't know. Something's not quite right. Let me try to start it again without my jump box on it. We'll see what happens. How about that? We'll go down here, go to cranking test, and we'll try that. Wasn't that something? Started right up. Alright, I love these. They got a list of other things. Not crank, stuck in park, has a hard brake pedal. Hard to shift into third when cold. Okay, warmed up, towed in. Alright, I'm going to try it a few more times, see if I can get it to act up. And I guess I'll put the scanner on it too, see if there's any transmission related codes. I see it's got a new throttle body on it. So, we'll see if there's codes and we'll come back. Well, No coats. It didn't start for me. I tried it a couple times, put my jump box on it, fired right up, and it starts now every time. So sometimes I've seen these where there's a crack in a plate in the battery, and the fact I put the jump battery on it kind of heals it temporarily or makes a connection in the battery. Usually you can duplicate it after 5 or 6 tries. It'll do it again and not start, and you can put a voltmeter on it. You'll either have low battery voltage or a starter that's doing the same exact thing, but it's got to do it. So if I can't get it to do it, I'm going to be in a world of hurt trying to get it to do it. So I'm going to play with this a little while. I'm going to see if I can get it to act up. The voltmeter is also going bonkers because it's charging correctly, but the voltmeter just goes all over the place, which usually means the cluster's bad. It's only been running a few minutes. Temperature gauge is up. I'm going to check the coolant level, make sure that's good, and we'll play around with it a little bit. We'll come back. I'll show you guys if I find something on it. Joe's doing a compressor net Explorer. She has a leaking water pump and a bad AC compressor. She just wants to do the AC compressor. Tried explaining that with a bad water pump, you know, you could have engine damage. She said my other Ford Explorer, when the water pump went, they replaced it, and then the engine went bad a month later. I'm like, well, the damage was probably already done. Did it too late. You waited, and now she's waiting. So, and I think the Cadillac is doing an AC condenser in that one too. So maybe I'll start getting some AC work again next week. We'll see. I know this week I'm not, because we're closing in on the end of the day and closing in on the end of the week. That's what happens on Friday, end of the day and the week. Now I'm rambling. So I'll play with this a while, and we'll come back and show you if anything comes up. Ooh, that training fluid don't look good. Doesn't taste good either. Well, I've been playing with this Bad Johnny for a while, and oops, sneeze coming on. I've been playing for this thing for a while, and it keeps starting. So I think this thing's gonna wait till next week, and we'll play with it a little bit. I'll see if I can get it to act up. It definitely needs a cluster. I haven't driven it because I don't want to get stuck if something happens to it. We'll leave for next week, so make sure you tune in on Monday. Maybe we'll see what's going on with this thing a little further. Of course, we'll have a bunch of new projects going on, a bunch of new repairs other than this one. So make sure you tune in on Monday and all week. Watch my day in the shop videos. I really appreciate it. I hope you'll torque the like button on your way out. I hope you got something from today's video, maybe enough to subscribe. And I hope I see you in the next video, because you're awesome.